I've got some creative prompts and journaling prompts for you today on finding ways to slow down. I think right now, the experience that we're all having is that there's an onslaught of so much for us to consume and understand and try and know. But the best thing that we can do for ourselves in this very moment to take care of ourselves and our creativity is to slow down and be incredibly deliberate with it. You're probably wondering where the idea of slowness is coming from. So I'm Mel, and I'm an adventure artist, and I love to hike in the rain. And if you are immediately thinking, I absolutely do not want to do that, I want to remind you that when I go out in the pouring rain, I can get photos that look like this, to use as painting references, and that's pretty stinking exciting. Now, if you're not familiar with hiking, that's completely okay. I want you to imagine the difference between walking on just a normal sunny day and walking in the pouring rain. You have to be more deliberate with your steps. You can't just walk at lightning speed or run when you have slippery surfaces. So often when I am hiking in the rain, I am confronted with literal slippery slopes. So what I have to do is take each step with care and move at a completely different speed. And the best part about going out on these hikes is that it ends up influencing my work. Whenever I take the time to go out and hike in the pouring rain, I am reminded of the importance of slowing down. Deliberate slowness is a magical thing that we can all take on to gain back a little bit more of our sense of time, control, and creativity in this moment. First, I'm going to share some journaling prompts with you. So even if you are someone that's like, I do not want to make things, making things is scary to me, start by journaling. Or if you're a creative that's feeling blocked right now, journaling can be a really, really important, crucial tool for you. My first journaling prompt for you is to consider your routines in your day. Is there anything that you can do to alter your routine or habits to do them with a more deliberate and slow pace? Think about tiny ways that you can claw bits of your time back. Is that waking up earlier in the mornings? Is that staying up late at night? Is that taking longer lunch breaks if you work from home? I personally have been trying to wake myself up early in order to go on long walks. For me, walking takes a really long time because of my disability. So I have to be really careful with myself and make sure that I'm giving myself ample time to get in the amount of stepping that's gonna make my brain and body feel good. So think about that. What are the routines or habits or things that you are doing that give you that sense of good feeling? It may seem antithetical to the moment, but lean hard into the pleasure of these things right now. Do things that make your body and brain feel good. Write those down. I also want to remind you that going out in nature is completely free, and it's amazing. Even in the dead of winter in the Midwest, nature and being outside can be really magical if you just give yourself a little bit of moment to pause and look. Think about those beautiful moments that happen in Studio Ghibli films where there's just water rushing over a rock in a particular way, and Miyazaki takes the time to show you those moments. I want you to go find those moments out in nature this week. Next up is a big one. Are you feeling wound up right now? I know I am. Take a moment to write down why. Write down specifically what things are bothering you in this moment. By writing them down, you're going to acknowledge them in ways that keeping them rattling around in your head isn't going to help. Sometimes simply the act of just acknowledging what it is that's upsetting us can help us to figure out actual solutions in our lives. After you write these down, though, my next challenge for you is to text a trusted friend, family member, or member of your larger chosen community that you can reach out to and set up a phone call. That phone call is going to be really essential for you to share your feelings about these things. If a phone call like that feels like it could be crossing the boundaries with someone, I do highly recommend you might want to have this conversation with a mental health professional. However, just getting solidarity from our friends and family with our feelings can help us feel less alone. My next one is going to be hard. Make a list of the things that you can do to slow down at work. Can you build a tiny amount of rest, even 5% of your time, to rest and breathing through your processes? Can you ask your higher-ups for more time on projects so that way you could focus on quality rather than speed? I know that this is completely antithetical to the way that our culture is set up, but I swear to you, just clawing back little bits of your time at work can help you gain a sense of breadth and your humanity in this really chaotic time. Just something as silly as walking more slowly around your workplace can make a world of difference. Please, stop rushing. Our bodies and minds were not made to process so much information and so much change at such a rapid clip. When I think about my old retail job, the way that I would actually do this is I would focus on the quality of the interaction I was having with the person in front of me. I would slow down. I would ignore the expectations from management or the key performance indicators, and I would just focus on the quality of those relationships. The person in front of me only. The project in front of me only. I know that's really hard, but just try it as a thought experiment. In the next week, what I want you to do each night is to just make a list of all the things that you did each day in the evening. Think about what did you get done, and focus more on the things you did get done rather than the things that you didn't do. If you're struggling with this concept, you might like my other video about a did list that I'll put right up here for you to go watch later. I want you to celebrate what you did do each day rather than what you didn't do. Once you're being more mindful about your time, it can really help you carve out more of those moments to spend real, engaged time with your creativity. Once you have about a week's log of this time, ask yourself, are there ways that you can reach out to your community to get some more support with the tasks that are overwhelming you? This exercise is simply to make you aware of the pace at which you are working through the world right now. We are all in the muck. We have to slowly get through it together. For me, sometimes just a phone call with a friend to body double, essentially, while I'm working on something, is all I need to get over the threshold to start the thing I've been avoiding. Those things for me are always things like laundry or cleaning out my garage. The goal is to just actually start and see if this habit can help you. Next up, I have some creative prompts for you to focus on slowness as an act of rebellion. So the first thing, I want you to think about your favorite part of your creative practice. For me, that is putting paint on a panel. I love that feeling. But what if you tied that feeling to box breathing? If you're not familiar with box breathing, I'll put a link in the description to an exercise that you can do, but it's a very simple concept. You just breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold, like a box. With each exhale, in this more controlled breath, make your brushstroke, knit a single stitch, carve gently into your ceramic piece, make a single line on your piece of paper. What happens to your work when you slow down like this? Do your shapes change? Does something feel different in your body? Take note of it. The next creative prompt I have for you right now involves going to the library. If you do not already have a library card, now is a perfect time to get one. They are amazing resources in your community, and our libraries need our support more than ever right now. So go to the library, and I want you to go to the stacks for creativity. Maybe they have art books, they might have photography books, they might have cooking books. Go ahead and look through those stacks and grab yourself a pile. Anything that interests you, just take it off the shelf. Remember, borrowing books from the library is free, and you've already paid for using them with your taxes. So grab those books off the shelf, bring them over to a main table in the library, and flip through them. Flip through and see what speaks to you. And maybe check out 4 or 5 books. Maybe that's too many for you. Maybe check out 1 or 2 of your favorites. And every time that you go to be creative in the next 2 weeks, what I want you to do is to spend the first part of your creative time, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, flipping through your favorite books. I have my Art of Princess Mononoke book right here on my desk, and so I'm gonna flip through that as a reminder of why I love to make landscape paintings over the next couple of weeks. The purpose of this is to find the beauty in getting inspiration from your art away from a screen. Next up, I want you to go on a walk outside. And I mean this, just go on a walk. Go to your local park, go walk out in nature. If you have a trail nearby and it feels accessible to you, great. But try and go on a walk or a roll outside. As you're exploring outside, you might have the impulse to take a photograph of something. But before you do, I want you to pause. Take a moment to really savor the thing that you're excited about. Look at it from every possible angle. Imagine your camera or your phone is full of film, so you have a limited number of photos you can take. Try to look at things at multiple angles. A really fun exercise that I like to do is use a viewfinder when I'm outside in nature before I take a photograph or before I make a sketch. But if you don't own a viewfinder, you can make one out of 2 pieces of scrap paper. So you can just take these little pieces of scrap paper, tape them together to make little L's. You can use your junk mail for this, that's a great one. And then you can use these scraps of paper to test out different shapes for composition and look through them with one eye closed and be able to see things in a totally different light. So try that out. Consider your composition and your shape. Then, once you've spent sufficient time, maybe set a timer for 1 to 2 minutes, take a photo. Lastly, I want you to consider how you move with your work. For me, even though I have a standing desk here and an ergonomic chair, I have a tendency to hunch over things and work as if I'm a tiny shrimp. And I want you to unshrimpify yourself. Remember the importance of stretching and moving your body in opposition to the pose that you're constantly in. If you're a ceramicist and you're always hunched over, remember to move backwards. If you're working on your easel, maybe you stretch your legs a little bit more. So think about different ways that you can move to make sure that you are protecting the tool that is your body. Take note if there are particular parts of your body that become inflamed after a long time making something. For me, I find that knitting and drawing and painting all have a tendency to inflame my right shoulder. So I always have to make sure that I do the exercises my physical therapist gave me in order to make sure that I'm keeping my body and my tools for creativity good for a lifetime. But really, being aware of how our body is shaped by our creative practice is a gorgeous way to slow down and be really intentional with how we are moving. I have 2 really good human recommendations for books that you should read if you are really enjoying the ideas in this video, but feel a little bit lost in terms of the idea of rest or leaning into pleasure and joy. The first one is Rest is Resistance by Tricia Hersey. I love this book. I have it as an audiobook on my phone, and whenever I am feeling really riled up, I like to just open it up and listen to a chapter. Tricia Hersey founded the Nap Ministry, which is an organization that actually facilitates restful napping as groups in person. Think about a restorative yoga class, but instead of doing yoga poses, you're napping. Her goal is to give people permission to rest, especially people who are organizers or activists who are trying to do so much. The importance of rest is so crucial. The next book that I want to recommend is Pleasure Activism by Adrienne Marie Brown. That book is truly foundational for me. I have so many notes in it. It's a great one to remember that joy is really essential for any change that we want to see in the world. The text is filled with awesome strategies to enjoy being alive on purpose. If this video felt particularly potent or powerful, leave me a comment down below and let me know which prompts were your favorite or which ones you're going to use in your creative practice. If you really liked these prompts, I highly recommend signing up for my Substack so that these can show up right in your email inbox. My Substack is free to sign up for, but if you choose to become a paid subscriber, you'll get access to additional creative prompts and some tools that I like to share with my paid subscribers over on Substack. So definitely join me over there. If you're really resonating with these things and you want to do this work in community, join my Discord server. We have a creativity club twice a month that is completely free to join, and I would love to meet you there and talk about these particular prompts. I use those prompts as the frame or container for what we talk about in our creativity club, and it's just an opportunity to show up and make some work with others. The last thing that I want to share is if you really love these prompts, you would probably love my little Create Your Own Creative Retreat zine. And I actually took all of the lessons from this zine and turned it into a PDF that you can download on my website. So the PDF is $33. It's really cool. It goes deep into setting up your space and your time for building a creative retreat at home or out in nature. And my favorite part about it is that it has 9 unique creative quests that will help you to guide yourself through a creative retreat to make more time and space for your amazing human creativity. Thank you for being here all the way to the end. go ahead and check out some of the other videos that are going to pop up here that the great algorithm thinks that you will like. And again, until next time, stay creative and find your own way to persistently bloom.